Good evening and good morning. Now the series of Dharma lectures about on the Huatou practice. The first lecture was on Master Dahui Zonggao in the Song Dynasty, and we know that when Master Dahui he just advocated the methods of Huatou very vigorously. And the most famous and the most popular Huatou, Master Dahui has always been advocated was the Huatou of Wu. Yeah, this Wu was based on a very completed Gong-an. And the second talk last time that was about some of the very common situations about those Gong-an. And in that second talk, we also have some explanation on why some of the Huatou were not so popular as the one, just a single word, the Huatou of Wu. And also, Master Gaofeng Yuemiao, he used he just put his own interpretation of the reason why this Huatou of where does one go after death? Because this Huatou, where do one come from before birth, and where does one go after death? This is actually a Huatou of two directions. That is the reason why it's not so popular as the one single word of a Huatou. Yeah, so maybe someone would say, oh, I'm very interested in this Huatou, even though this can be divided into the two directions, and then I would like to just investigate the second half of it. Where do I go after that? Yeah. But according to Master Gaofeng Yuemiao, he just analyzed that you must have a very simple and a very powerful question and doubt in your mind. So if the doubt in the mind is very important. So generally speaking, if you just say, oh, I just split this two direction Huatou of about the issue of birth and death, then maybe it cannot be so powerful because you just split it in two. Yeah, so maybe someone say that, oh, this Huatou of Wu, it is not so very relevant to the issue of birth and death. Yeah, so maybe you say, well, about this second half of this Huatou, where does one go after death? Yeah, so maybe this one can be very useful because most of us are very interested in this topic. Yeah, so this can be some kind of our doubts about whether we can use this Huatou, the second half of this Huatou. Yeah, so today we will come and have some investigation into the reason. Yeah, yeah. So can we have just one half of this Huatou about birth and death? Yeah, let's have a look at this. So today we are going to talk about the great master in the end of the Ming Dynasty, Master Han Shan. Yeah, Master Sheng Yan in his lifetime, he has talked about many stories about Chan masters. And in most of his Dharma talks in the 7-day retreat, he put more emphasis in Master Dahui Zonggao. And while Master Sheng Yan was guiding his first 7-day retreat in the CDC in New York, actually the Chan master he used was Master Han Shan. Yeah, so Master Han Shan was a very important figure, very important in the history of the Chinese Chan Buddhism. So we can see that so in Master Sheng Yan's lifetime, he often make use of the stories and the teachings of Master Han Shan's Chan teaching. Yeah, and the special part of Master Han Shan is he emphasized all his lifetime using the Huatou of combining the investigation of Huatou together with the recitation of Buddha's name. Yeah, so let's have a look at Master Han Shan's lifetime. Yeah, so in his lifetime, the life story has a very close relationship with his Dao sensation. He was born actually his Dao sensation started from the age of 7. Yeah, we must have a look at his Dao sensation at 7 years old. There is another Dharma teacher. She has a very detailed illustration of Master Han Shan's sensation of doubt on Master Han Shan's story. Just a series of 5 lectures on Master Han Shan's life story and his Chan method. That was made by Venerable Changqing. If you're interested in that, you can go to our Dhamma Zhuang Mountain classroom. In his time, there are totally 4 times of awakening, and his awakening verses are very interesting and very significant. And also in the collection of Master Han Shan's life story, he has a very detailed collection of his dreams. For myself, I was very curious about this part because his description about his dreams can be very good resources for research for those psychologists. Yeah, and about his experiences of enlightenment can be very critical and significant to his turning point of his lifetime. Yeah, and in his lifetime, he just encountered that he went through 2 exiles. Yeah, one of the most important things is that he revived the Caoxi sites of this Chan sect, that is Linji sect of the Chinese Chan Buddhism. Yeah, and then at his 59 years old, he was exiled to Leizhou for the 2nd time. So in Nanhua Monastery, in the Nanhua Monastery in Guangzhou City, there is there is a statue of Master Han Shan. And for myself, I went there to the Nanhua Monastery in Guangzhou, and I went there, and because of some Buddhist conference, so I take the good opportunity. After the conference, I went visiting that, and I feel that was very impressive to me. That was while I was walking on the path of the trail of the Nanhua Monastery. I just thought of this idea that in the history of the Chinese Buddhism, there are so many critical times, challenges for the monks and the nuns, and for all the the transmission of the Chinese Chan Buddhism. But all the great masters and the practitioners, they just work so hard to cope with those difficulties, especially like Master Han Shan, Master Hui Neng. All of them just made all the effort throughout their lifetime so as to keep the life of the Chan Buddhism going on and on. So that is a very inspiring story. Let's have a look at Master Han Shan's life story among his lifetime. He has a very special part at his birth. About his lifetime, he started from his mother's special experience before his birth. His mom was very fond of worshipping Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, or what we say Guang Yin Pusa in Chinese. And one night in sleep, his mother Hong dreamed of Guang Yin Pusa brings a little child entering the house, and thereby the mother just Hong took hold of the kid, and before long she was pregnant with the Han Shan. Yeah, so this is a very special part. Yeah, and we just said that previously that his life, we said that Master Han Shan started to have his sensation of doubt as early as the age of 7. So his uncle loves him very much. So one day when Han Shan just got back from school, he just come home and found the uncle stretched out so quietly on the bed, not knowing what to think. So his mother played the things like a mind game trick on him. He said, "Hey, your uncle is sleeping, and you can wake him up." Yeah, he just came in and called his uncle, just like as suggested by his mother. So he called and shouted at the uncle, trying to get him to wake up, but the uncle didn't respond. And then his aunt was very sad about this, so she snarled, "Can't you see he's gone?" And he couldn't understand how the uncle could be gone when he was still right there. So for such a young kid of 7, his response to the so-called death, he cannot understand because he really see what he saw is the uncle, the body, the physical body of the uncle was lying there. But the mother say he dies, and the aunt say that he's gone. So for this little kid, he started to give rise to the doubt, the sense of doubt in his mind. Where does one go after that? And then after a while, another aunt, another aunt just gave birth to a baby, and then he just went together with his mom to visit this aunt. And most of you have seen newborns, and then when he saw this newborn, he just was curious with this question. So he asked his mother, "Where did this baby come from?" And the mother said, "He came from your aunt Bailey." And this was another doubt in his mind, because where did he come into Aunt Betty? So this doubt, this question, just made him very curious. It's very mysterious. Yeah, for most of us, on seeing a newborn, you just think that, oh, that's a newborn. We just take it for granted that, oh, that's a new baby. But I think most of us, especially for young kids, they should be just curious about the coming from. Where does the baby come from? Yeah, so this is the doubt Master Han Shan comes from. So the mother asked Han Shan, "Then where do you come from?" And this is the very beginning of his sensation of doubt. So yeah, so what we have always been talking about, the matter of birth and death. So just about the matter of birth and death, where does this sensation of doubt come from? This is the very good example of the beginning of the sensation of doubt from. And then, just like we say, at this age of 8, then he started to attend school. Because his mom is very serious about his education. So at this age, 8, his mother actually kept on pushing him a lot. One day, while his mom was just accompanying him all the way to school, while they are just facing the river bank. His mom just sent him to the river bank, and he was very just sad to leave his mom, but his mom just forced him to the riverside and just forced him get on board the boat, but he refused to do so. And then he was so reluctant to leave his mom, so he just refused to get on board the boat. And his mom, just without any word, just pushed him into the river. Yeah, it is just beyond our imagination, right? Because this mother was always very just serious about this kind of raising a child. Yeah, and eventually that is because of the grandmother, the mother. Grandmother just tried to save him from the water. Well, so the mother has his reason of pushing the kid so fiercely. The mom say that if the kid is not serious about the lessons, he does not want to go to school, then just leave him an illiterate child. And well, after this accident, he has no other choice. Yeah, he has no other choice but just going away. Yeah, another story. Another anecdote of Han Shan's story is that while he was just about a month old, just like before he was 1 month old, he was seriously ill, and his mom prayed to Guang Yin Pusa Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara that if this kid can come over, just get over with this seriously illness, then the mother's promised that he will send the kid to be a monk just for this reason. Yeah, so his mother just kept this promise. Well, one day he just really anxious to go to he's interested in going to some temples to attend some Dharma lessons. He was anxious to do so, and his father refused to let him go. But his mother said that we had better raise the kid in accordance in aspiration. So based on this mother's insistence, Han Shan was sent to the temple of Bao'en Monastery, and he started to learn Buddhism teachings, and from then on, actually, in his journey of learning Buddhism, he has always been very concentrated. That was based on the discipline from his mother's insistence on his teaching, and always be serious about everything. Yeah, so let's have a look at his some very good experience about this methods of Buddha's name recitation. It was that day that he started to focus on the method of reciting Buddha's name uninterrupted day by day. And before long, during the dream at night, he saw Amitabha Buddha standing in the western sky. And then in this kind of state, the sunset side, Amitabha's feature was so clear and so bright. So Han Shan was so impressed. He prostrated to the Buddha with the utmost admiration and reverence. So the next moment, he saw Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, Guang Yin Pusa, and also he saw another Bodhisattva by Amitabha's side, that is the Dharma Prince, great strength, or we say Da Shi Pusa. So both of the two Bodhisattvas, they are in half length. So from then on, Master Han Shan, he always saw the three saints of the West often show up to him clearly. And then he was confident of the attaining realization through the approach of the reciting Buddha's name. And then in that winter, the same year in the winter, the Chan hall of the monastery was renovated, followed by some Dhamma talks on the profound teachings in the Avatamsaka Sutra, Flower Ornament Sutra, by Master Wu Ji. So during this event, Han Shan eventually received the full precept of ordination. Actually, these major teachings of the Master Han Shan was on the teachings of the Avatamsaka Sutra. This is the first impression and the beginning of his learning of the Avatamsaka Sutra. Yeah, so according to Master Sheng Yan's teachings, we know that the teachings in the Avatamsaka Sutra and the Tiantai school, these two are a very important trace of tradition of the Chinese Chan Buddhism. So as the talks proceed to the part of the 10 mysteries, the revelation of the myriads of phenomena ever abiding in the sea imprint of perfumed ocean, Han Shan suddenly realized the essentials of the unlimited mutual compatibility of the Dharma realms. So this term, the samadhi of the sea imprint, the samadhi of the sea imprint, actually in our DDM headquarters in Taipei County, Jinshan, there is a very famous site with the character of this whole word, Hai Yin San Mei, the samadhi of the sea imprint. Yeah, so this actually this is a part of the very important teachings in the Avatamsaka school, Avatamsaka Sutra, about this kind of scenery, the scenes in the sea imprint perfumed ocean. The ocean is perfumed with all kinds of perfumes, and all the means and all the phenomena is heavily there, and everything is embedded and embraced in such a very just overall embracing scenario of this sea imprint perfumed ocean. That is okay. So let's come to the next stage. That is to the age of 20, the next year, in October, Master Yun Gu, he has an intensive Chan meditation retreat in Tianjie Monastery. Yeah, if you're interested in this part, you can go just from details in Master Sheng Yan's work. Actually, that is his doctorate thesis on the Buddhism teachings in the end of Ming Dynasty. Yeah, so this Master Yun Gu, he was one of the prominent Chan masters in this stage. Yeah, and another scholar who has some lots of research in this end of Ming Chinese Buddhism is Professor Yu Junfang. So if it of the Columbia University. So all those prominent masters and also their teachings can be just very inspiring points for okay, so for learners, among all of the prominent masters in this stage, Master Han Shan is one of them. Yeah, so those very famous and prominent Chan masters during the last stage of the Ming Dynasty, they have their very important impacts and influence in the history of the Chinese Chan Buddhism. So at the age of 20, Master Han Shan, he went to participate in this meditation 7-day intensive retreat guided by Master Yun Gu. And in this retreat, Master Yun Gu, he just made a very clear instruction on the Gong-an of reciting Buddha's name in a down-to-earth approach. Yeah, so from then on to the beginning of this retreat, Han Shan settled with this method of reciting Buddha's name. He started it right away without any distraction. Now we can see that from the previous year, at the age of 19, he has started his method of reciting the Buddha's name. And then from this beginning of the 7-day retreat, he just worked on harder on this method. So within the next 3 months, his life was something like dreamy. Yeah. So actually, we can see that the dreaming way, the dreaming manner of life is just like the practitioner has been deep in his doubt mass, right? Because he has been working so hard on this Gong-an, and he cannot save any person who come in front of him, or even any kind of trivials in daily life. He cannot. He is not aware of them. Yeah, so he's not. He didn't know what's going on. Just images or sounds. Okay. Yeah, because some parts of his words, and maybe some internet minor problems. Yeah. Yeah. So let's continue. Yeah. So yeah, so because of such a very fierce and a very vigorous way of investigating the Huatou, so due to this kind of very fierce vigor in the practice, so his back became covered with ulcer, and the ulcer becomes more and more serious. So to the later part of the night, he just fell. He just fell sound asleep. It seems like he was very sound asleep, but actually, he just kept on sleeping. And then the second day, just at dawn, he found that all the ulcer in the back was gone. So after the 7-day retreat, he just felt that he was still in the Chan hall, and no matter where he goes, he cannot see anybody. He just had no idea what's going on. So you can see that this description of his mental state is exactly the state of the deeply in the Tao mass. So for some of you, if you have the experience of participating in some kind of Huatou intensive retreat, especially to the end of the retreat, while you are very just deeply in the atmosphere, in the settings of the retreat, yeah, you will see. Maybe you can feel this kind of experience. So So during an intensive retreat, if you are working hard, your mental state can become finer and minor. Yeah. So while you are working very hard and intensively during the retreat, your mind will get just finer and finer. So Master Shen Yin, he has designed just in the schedule, daily schedules of the 7-day intensive retreat. That is to the end of the retreat. All the participants will join a kind of a discussion session, and so just talk about their experience during the retreat. Yeah, so if the participant is very serious and very serious in his investigating of the method, he will be in such a state of just like kind of in the down mass. And then at 21, the place he was staying in, the Bao'en monastery, caught fire. Yeah, and so Master Han Shan, because of this, he went to Tianjie Monastery and he attended Dharma talks to get acquainted. And then during those talks, he got acquaintances with the monk Venerable Miaofeng. Yeah, this Miaofeng is one of the very important figures in during his lifetime. And then at 26, Han Shan started the pilgrimage trip toward the north. And then to this age of 28, he visited the mountain Wutai, where he found the location of the famous scenic spot, Han Shan. And then he just secretly named himself Han Shan because of the fondness for this place. And then let's have a look at all the peak experiences. During the so let's have a close look at his first experience of awakening. Yeah, so after he get to know this monk, the monk Miaofeng, now let's have a look at the close description about his first experience of awakening. Han Shan was 29. Now he caught up with Miaofeng in Hedong. They stayed there together for the winter as a guest. And at that time, official Chen earnestly invited Miaofeng and Han Shan to undertake the task of carving wooden blocks for blocking the Zhao Lun with the commentary. And we know that last time we talked about the Shimi, the Sumeru, Mount Sumeru. Yeah, so the Mount Sumeru is a very important part. So if the wind blows very well, then the peak of the Mount Sumeru can be knocked down. So you can see that the wind, how you can imagine how strong and wild the wind can be. And then here, let's come back to the story about Han Shan's commentary, working on the commentary of this work, Zhao Lun. This Zhao Lun, the text that dealt with such a matter was the doctrine of immutability and the world-destroying world wind. So this whirlwind is very, very strong, and Han Shan couldn't grasp the concept no matter how hard he tried. And then when he came to the session that contained the story about the enlightened Brahmin who went back to visit the home he had left as a child. Although this Brahmin now, his hair has been white and he had aged considerably, but a neighbor was still able to recognize him. So this neighbor just say, "Hey, you're the man who used to live here." But the Brahmin, he smiled and explained that the man was dead, and what the neighbor saw was actually the image Wow, so this is what it meant. This idea comes up to Han Shan's mind. So like here, I'm speaking. So this moment, all the words I said previously is gone. So all the changes of all the phenomenon actually is constant changes and the flow of different changes, different events. So when we just have a look at our childhood photos, yeah, you just see whether that is you. Is that you, the real you? Most of you have this idea, very famous and popular saying by our senior master, Venerable Guang. He has a very famous saying. He said that the mother in your mind is not your mom. So in this way, Master Han Shan, he knew that, wow, this description of the Brahmin story is actually a very good explanation to him. So he knows that when you are illusory, constantly changing ego self dies, you can realize that your true and permanent nature. So your immutable Buddha self. So only our appearances can change, but the underlying reality cannot change. So in this way, Han Shan just felt so impressed. He got up, went into the hall, and then he prostrated himself to the Buddha. And he just felt that everything suddenly seemed so clear, no motion, no action. So he just felt so calm in his mind. And then he opened the door and looked with amazement at the courtyard. And then what he saw is a strong wind has started to blow, tearing leaves off all the trees. The air was filled with them. Yet the leaves seemed motionless to him. To this point, I'd like to remind you of Master Dahui Zonggao's first experience of awakening. It is also the scene and the sense of motionless, no move, no stillness. So there is there's no flowing and motionless. So just like sometimes if you just use your hands to wash the clothes, yeah, and when you turn on the tap, the water flows, the water is flowing. But to a great practitioner, just like this moment, the master, he can see the flowing as motionless. So to this point, to Master Han Shan, he knows that all the motions, all the phenomena, everything, they were just there, suspended in the air. And all was so serene. So finally, he had perceived something with his Buddha eye. So let's have a look at what he wrote at this point of awakening. The verse goes, death and birth, day and night, water flowing, waters withering. It is only now I know that nostrils point downward. How impressive it is. I still remember the early days where I joined the Dhamma Zhuang Mountain publishing, where I just get to know this verse. I was so deeply impressed with this verse. Why? Because while we just reflect on the passing of a day and night every day, and you can see death and birth, day and night. That is what we go through every day. And all the natural phenomena like water flowing, flowers withering, that is all the natural phenomena, and so natural. It seems to be all the things are moving, but actually to the other opposite side, it is also motionless. So it is just like the very clear facts. So to the next day, his good friend Miao Feng saw that Han Shan was something different. So he asked him, "Hey, what do we have here?" And Miao Feng said this very happily. And Han Shan accordingly answered, "Last night, last night I saw by the river bank 2 iron buffaloes fighting all the way down to the river. There's no whereabouts so far. Maybe they died. They have been drowned." And the Miao Feng, hearing this, he laughed hard, and then he said, "Fortune has smiled on you. At last, you can afford mountain life." Yeah. So, can you just share with us your impression with this scenario? So, if you are interested in this, you can just unmute yourself and just give me some feedback. Yeah. So what is the issue Han Shan is just inspired here? Now we can see that this is a big issue about coming and going, death and birth. Okay, so this member said that you talk about birth and death. So here, the item of iron buffaloes, does it mean the symbols of distinction between the birth and death? And what Han Shan says is that the two iron buffaloes simplified the duality. And since the 2 iron buffaloes were fighting, and all the way they go into the river, so that can be symbolizing the duality has been shattered, smashed, all the discrimination of birth and death. And then let's have a look at his second experience of awakening. Yeah, that was during his stay in the mountain Wutai. It was early spring. That is March 3rd. So that was at his age of 30. He left there. He stayed there and lived there alone. Yeah. So according to the description, he was staying there and just surrounded by the beautiful snow white scenery. Han Shan was so pleased to find an old hut, and then he moved to live in this little hut. And he experienced in such a situation, he feel that it's like a heavenly vision. His body and mind was filled with delight as he entered a paradise of bliss. And he lived there alone, kept on sitting in deep and silent meditation. And he was soon absorbed in meditation, that if someone had roused him and showed him a Chinese character, he couldn't recognize it. And later, his old friend, monk Miao Feng, came to stay with him. And and to the beginning, when he first arrived at the hut, the noise of the rolling wind and the running water used to disturb him. So since it didn't seem to bother Miao Feng at all, so Miao Feng, Han Shan asked Miao Feng for explanation why the noise of the wind and the water kept on disturbing him. So Miao Feng said that the disturbance you feel is created within your own mind. You have grasped the sound so that you interpret it as a noise. You should just keep on listening without judgment. Just concentrate on the act of merely hearing, so that no thought of any kind that can arise in your mind. The ancients say that whoever hears without grasping, then whoever can listen to the sound without thinking, will soon attain the Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara's perfection of wisdom through ear base. Well, on hearing this, Han San, he hoped to master this technique. So he went to a wooden bridge every day and tried to listen to the water without thinking about it or giving any thoughts at all. So at first, he could hear all that he hears is the noise, but he kept on working, and his mind gradually just get more and more pacified. So after a little practice, his mind began to settle down, and then one day, when his thought has ceased to search that water, he became so immersed in the sound that he actually forgot about himself. The noise and his existence was gone. So serenity enveloped his mind. So after that, whenever he heard a sound that previously would have annoyed him, all he had to do was concentrate on that sound without mentally grasping it. So he has the habit of just taking a walk after meal. So one day, just while he was walking, he happened to stop and stand still. And in that blissful moment, he entered samadhi. So after the samadhi, he just say the following verse. The verse goes, "In the flash of one thought, my turbulent mind came to rest. The inner and the outer senses and their objects are thoroughly lucid. In a complete turnabout, I smashed the great emptiness, arise and disappear, myriads of phenomena without any reason." So now we can see from this verse that only when we are able to let go of all those wandering thoughts, then all the thoughts about all the external phenomena and all the thoughts about your sense faculties and all their objects are all gone. Because so here you can see in the verse there's a word in the complete turnabout. The turnabout here refers to you, your body and mind. Yeah, just come to the opposite direction, and you can see from the opposite direction that all the phenomena in the world, all the things around you, you just through this complete turnabout, he smashed the great emptiness, and so from this experience, all the myriads of phenomena all gone, and all the doubts in the past are all gone. Everything is clarified. This means that Han Shan here, from this experience awakening, he is no longer disturbed by all the noises, the sounds, the images in the environment. He is not disturbed at all. So this is when he was 30, and this is his second experience of enlightenment. And then it was during the spring in March when Han Shan was 31 years old. Actually, the awakening of the previous year, because there was no one to consult, so he just want to know what's happening for this second experience of awakening. So since Han San had no one there to consult with about his awakening experience in the past year, he read the Surangama Sutra. He hoped that he can just gain some insight and verification through the text of the Surangama Sutra. And then just later on, there is the official. His name is Pingyang, the prefect of Pingyang, the Hu, Mr. Hu. He came visiting Han Shan, and he just tried to come. One of the goals of his visiting Han Shan is to ask him to compose a poem for him. And Han Shan was flustered on the request, because now he just forgot. He was not in the mood of the poems. So he replied, "My mind has been emptied. There is not a single character left in it." He declined. And this Mr. Hu was very clever. He left the collection of the ancient and contemporary poetry on the table. And then as soon as Han Shan flipped through the pages of this collection of the poetry, the book stimulated his thinking. Now the words and sentences in the book tumbled out, and he could not stop writing. Immediately, Han Shan realized what was happening to him, and seeing the danger, he said to himself, "Wow, this is a demon of a liberty flame." So at this point, he thinks now this reminded him of the thing, the words that just reminded by him. The master was the name is Master Guang. So at this point he knows about the Chan illness. So he stopped writing, and then he selected a point to satisfy Mr. Hu's request, and then he stopped it. But this kind of thinking process could not be stopped. So every point Han Shan had ever written appeared before him. The entire universe seemed to be filled with his words and phrases. So he couldn't sleep, and eventually he tried his best to just lie down and try to fall asleep. And then that night, eventually he fell asleep. So he closed the door and tried to sleep, but he was too restless. Then he sat up, and then after a long while, he fell asleep right where he was sitting. For 5 days in a row, a servant boy came to Han Shan's door and knocked, but he never could get the answer. So 5 days later, when this Mr. Hu returned and heard about the situation, he ordered his men to break through Han Shan's room through the window. And then, of course, they got in. And he tried everything he could to wake up Han Shan. Eventually, he found this in Qing, or the bell on the door, so on the desk. So he just held the in Qing, just close Han Shan's ear and began to strike it. Eventually, Han Shan awakened. And then when Han Shan finally opened his eye, he didn't know where he was or how he had got to this stage. And this Hu said that, "After I left, the day you have started sleeping, this is your 5th day of sleep." And then Han Shan replied, "No idea. It seems to be the first day of my life." Yeah, so to this stage, he said silently, looking around, feeling as if he were in a dream. He could even remember the days, the mountains, and all his past journeys, and all those events too. All the journey seems to be like a dream images, and his mind was empty of everything, and he has once thought of as real. So this is a kind of another very blissful moment in his life. So with this this kind of very delighted, blissful mind state, he said to himself a poem. This poem goes: "In utter stillness, the bright light pervading all enfolds the great void. Worldly things, when closely looked at, are like illusions in the dream." Now we can see from this verse that Master Han Shan
from his long journey of hard working in a practice, he has been undergoing all those difficulties, different challenges, and in his mind, he was not affected by all those difficulties. And we can see that according to his record, his recording script recording, he recorded many of his dreams, and he actually to him all the dreams can be something like real or something just kind of reflecting in his reflecting of the daily life. And now let's talk about his fourth experience of awakening. That is that this awakening happened in his during his stay in the Haiyin monastery in Donghai, Laoshan. The time can be like during the night. It was during the night. He had sat in the meditation or evening, and then during the night he got up and looked out at the sea. And at this moment, the time ceased, and there was no movement in the ocean. No waves, no ripples disturbed the water surface. And he just, he can see the moonlight glistened on the still water as though it were shining on a field of snow. So everything was filled with light. So he was so inspired by this. He said the next verse of inspiring. He says, "From a clear sky, the bright moon shimmers. On the still sea and snow drips ashore. In that holy light, I cannot find the water's edge. The earth is rested in the serenity." Now, from this verse, we can see that the ocean is so clear, penetrating. The description of the ocean is so peaceful and lucid. So here, maybe talking about the combination of the snow and the moonlight. Maybe in the North America, you can get the very good impression of the reflection of both the moonlight and the snow. Yeah, so here, so here we can see that during such a awakening experience, the duality between the sense and all those ordinary means, all those dualities are gone. And now we can see that from the perspective of his awakened mind, he can see everything has been smashed, and all the water, all the rivers and the mountains come to rest in serenity. Yeah, just like we know that to the end of Master Sheng Yan's life, he has this very famous phrase that tranquility is the blissful state. Yeah, so after he returned to the room, he picked up the copy of the Surangama Sutra, and he just flipped open the sutra, let it open at random. He just read the following verse. It goes, "Your mind and your body and all the mountains, rivers, and spaces of the earth are merely phenomena that exist within the one bright true mind." So this is a true suchness in our inherent nature. So this is the fourth experience of awakening. So for myself, while we are studying and reading the description about the experience of the awakening of all those great masters, it's a very natural for us to just open our mind in our reading of those words of wisdoms. And then while your mind is opened, then you can see that your mind can embrace all the emptiness and the space. And then we come to the next part of the special experience of Master Han Shan. Talk about his dreams. One of his dreams is once he dreamed his dream about a great master of Qingliang Cheng Guan. Yeah, about this dream, it goes that way. Once I dreamed I entered a diamond cave and came to the stone door of a great Prajna temple. I opened the door and went in. And there, in a huge area, I saw a solemn temple buildings and a spacious hall. Inside the hall, Great Master Qingliang Cheng Guan was resting on a large meditation bed. Miao Feng was standing. This Miao Feng was his good friend, right? Miao Feng was standing on his left. And on seeing this, I quickly went to the bed and prostrated myself and then stood on his right side. Wow, what an interesting dream, right? And then the next dream is about his dream. He dreams of Bodhisattva Maitreya. Yeah, that's very interesting description about this dream. It goes, in another dream, I saw my body rise up high in the air. When it descended, the land was so flat and shining like a crystal mirror. And then, while I was looking deep into the mirror, I could see myself inside a spacious chamber which contained all the manners of worldly things, like men, animals, children, houses, farmyards, and so on and so forth. That is just like the description while you are just flying in the sky in the plane, and what you saw down to the earth is all he is describing here. Then these creatures were not supposed to prettily, and then there were all these creatures, all those items and everything are just like performing the natural everyday acts of life. And then just like while he was observing all these phenomena, suddenly he heard the sound of Yinqing, the bell, and then he opened his eyes and he saw Bodhisattva Maitreya seated on the throne. Yeah, this is his dream about meeting Bodhisattva Maitreya. And his another dream is about meeting Bodhisattva Manjushri. And that is also another very special experience of the dream. And then let's come to his bad part of his life. That is a nadir experience. Yeah, what is the nadir experience in his lifetime? That was at his age of 50. In this year, the emperor at that time was Shenzong. So Shenzong, the emperor, he didn't agree with his mother, the empress mother's devotion to Buddhism, because emperor mother, she has devoted quite a lot of money to support the Han Shan's and some other Buddhism temples. Yeah, all those complicated disagreements among the royal family members cause a problem to all those monks. And now this event make Han Shan the victim of this conflict between the son and the mother. So Han Shan was accused of illegally building temples at the Donghai, and accordingly he was jailed. And later he was exiled to Leizhou in the south. And at that time, in Leizhou, a lot of people was facing famine due to the droughts in this place. And Han Shan, to help out these people, he held the Dharma services. And in that services, he changed sutras and delivered all those deceived means and ghosts in the hell and so on, so as to pray for the rain and pray for the blessings for all the people. So the people were very grateful for what he had did. This is his first experience of exile. And then 9 years later, he has his good friend, Master Chan Master Guang, and another friend is Master Zibo Zhenke. Yeah. So Chan Master Guang has his problems with royals, so he was put in prison. So implicated by Chan Master Guang's case, Han Shan was again banished to Leizhou over again. So we can see that all this, all through the lives of the great masters, they have to go through the different kinds of difficulties, but their attitude to all these difficulties, to cope with difficult situations, they can be good lessons for us to learn. And then let's talk about his passing. Before his passing, he started to feel slightly ill in the October of this year 1623. That is while he was 78. And then this official Zhang just brought a physician to just to help the master. But the master thanked the physician, just say thank for your help, but he declined to get the medication. So his attendant knows what's in the mind. So the attendant asked for some last words. The master sighed, and then he said the very special verse. He said, when the proclamations that come from the Buddha's golden mouth are regarded as old and worthless news, what value can my words have? Yeah, this is a very special words. And then after saying this, he just didn't say anything more. So in the middle of the afternoon, when Han Shan is still sitting upright, he passed away in peace. And his body, his remains was put in the in the pagoda, and for the later Buddhist Chan practitioners to pay respect to. And Master Han Shan De Qing, he has written many works during his lifetime. And one of the most famous works by him is the complete works of Master Han Shan's Dream Romance. And the contents of these complete works of his Dream Romance can be can include quite a lot of varieties of the different styles of different genres of writings. And his calligraphy is also very good, nice, and so many of his calligraphy works has been passing on for generations after generation. So while we have a look at the full annotation of the Dharma Drum Mountain, we can see that all the great masters, their Chan masters, they have left behind many of their works after their death. Yeah, and the most special part in this complete works of his Dream Romance, the most famous one is he left a very complete autobiography. This is the autobiography of Master Han Shan, and it's a maximum. Yeah, so this one is one of the most famous calligraphy works. I myself like it very much, and generally this is one of the most popular one. This was one of the show in exhibition held by the foundation of the He Chuangshi. In this exhibition, for me, the most impressive is this calligraphy work by Master Han Shan. I just feel, wow, even though this is like a copy, but yeah, this looks so real, like the real work of it. Yeah, so this is a very precious copy. It's not easy for us to read through this style of writing. We can have a look at this. In one thought, I forget of all the conditions around, everything in serenity. Thus, the lonely light just illuminates clearly all the surroundings. Just see through all the thundering in the sky. It's not like the fireflies during the daytime. So here, this can also be a good example of the description of some kind of the Huatou situation. So you can see these two words. The first line, the first line is the serenity. The serenity, and the second line is bright and clear. So these two words, serenity, 积极, and the clear and bright, 星星. These two phrases is a typical description of experience after just during the process of investigating time, investigating Huatou or investigating silent illumination. These two words of serenity or bright and clear, they are very typical experience. Yeah, so let's have next we come to the part about Master Han Shan's teaching of Chan meditation. So that's a very important part that is about his Master Han Shan's teachings, his teachings of the Chan practice. Yeah, so this one is actually the typical part of Master Han Shan. In Master Shen Yan's teaching of Chan practice, in a certain book, yeah, in one of the works by Master Shen Yan, he has his interpretation of this approach of investigating Chan through recitation of Buddha's name. Yeah, now today, what we are going to see is this Gong'an. The Gong'an is called the investigating Gong'an through Buddha's name in recitation with down-to-earth attitude. So let's have a close look at this. Yeah. So actually, in this so this is one of the most important parts about this approach of the investigating the Buddha's investigating a Gong'an through the recitation of the Buddha's name. Yeah. So the ultimate goal is to investigate the Gong'an of who is the one reciting the Buddha's name. Actually, the process is to just recite the Buddha's name first, and then during the process of the reciting of the Buddha's name, you just keep on reciting Amitofo, Amitofo. But while you are saying Ami Tuofo, this is the end of your words. So what the Huatou focusing on is what your thoughts, what is your thoughts previous to your saying of the Ami Tuofo. Yeah, so the Huatou means to the beginning or to the previous part of your words. So this moment while you are keeping, while you are chanting Ami Tuofo, you just keep on investigating what is your thought before you saying this Ami Tuofo. So here it can be like in the States that while you are reciting the Buddha's name, and then someone happened to come and grab your neck, and then at this moment he just asks you, who is reciting Buddha's name? Who is it? Who is it? And you keep on just asking in this way, just like the scenario. And then while you are very forcefully just reciting the Buddha's name with this, who is it? Who is this? Who is this? In this way, all of your wandering thoughts, all those scattering thoughts will be gone. So whenever you have any wandering thoughts coming up, you just give rise to this, who is it? Who is it? And then all those wandering thoughts will naturally go away. So this is a brief description about the process of the investigation of the Huatou through the Buddha's name recitation. Yeah. Yeah, so according to Master Hansan's reply to a practitioner, he says that if you just can be very deeply convinced of this method, you just let go of all those wandering thoughts and just mindfully pick up the word, the Buddha's name, Ami Tuofo, Ami Tuofo. And then at the same time, you also put your attention on this point. Where does this words, where does this Ami Tuofo come from? And there's a description in the retreat. During the retreat, there is an analogy like this state is just like a cat, just watching the cat. A cat watching the mouse to the hole, and he must be very attentive. And while he was watching at the mouth of the hole in such an attentive way, then any moment the mouse comes out, he will be able to catch it. So this analogy is a very good comparison of your using the methods of reciting the Buddha's name and watching over your Huatou. Yeah. And the next part is like how to create sensation of doubt. So while you are working hard on this recitation of Buddha's name, and all the way you keep on asking, who is it? Who is it? Then the next part is that you have to create doubt sensation. Yeah, you just keep on asking, who is it? Who is it? So whenever any kind of wandering thoughts comes up, we just say, hush. And then, who is it? Who is it? So once you just say there's a hush, who is it? Then the wandering thought will be driven away naturally. So you still remember to the first talk, I just mentioned that Huatou, there can be two resources of the Huatou. One is from the description of Guang, and so this is the resource of the Huatou. And the second resource of the Huatou is from the Huatou of the Wu, and also from the method of reciting the Buddha's name. So while the practitioner keep on asking who is it, actually his sense of the sensation of doubt is created gradually. And then what kind of a mental state can be developed during this process? Well, according to Master Han Shan's description, he says that during sleep one cannot easily retrieve his mind. So once he is wide awake, he has to right away pick up the Huatou. So during the daily life, different activities can be the best points, best opportunity for him to pick up and watch over the Huatou. And then when the Huatou is always in his mind, then he keep on investigating the Huatou. And once he can incessantly and mindfully just investigating the Huatou, and then gradually he keep on working this way, then his body and mind will be just in unification. And at this point, actually that is the way of his entering the Tao mass. But it's still not the moment of awakening. And then what is the moment of awakening? Yeah, it goes that the next stage is that, when the practitioner is so deeply merged in such a Tao mass, then everything, while he is in the crowd, he cannot see anything. While he's doing everything, he is not aware of that. And at one moment, all of a sudden, all the doubts, all the things are smashed. Then that is the moment of awakening. That is really the moment of awakening. So, so that is why we say that the process of the investigating Huatou through the methods of Buddha's name recitation can be through the four stages. Firstly is the Huatou. The next one is to create the sensation of doubt, and then he will enter the Tao mass, and eventually, all of a sudden, he got enlightened. Yeah. So there can be more. Yeah. So this page is about the process of the methods of investigating Huatou through the methods of reciting the Buddha's name. The first stage is to use the Huatou. So the first one, use the Huatou. That is for the practitioner to keep on reciting Amitofo, Amitofo. And there is a person who used this method, and he has been working for 30 years. And he came to ask Master Han Shan, what is a more efficient way? Because he didn't get any, he get much progress with this method. So should I just switch to some other method? And do you know what Han Shan's answer is? Han Shan said that no, you don't need to switch to some other method. You keep on reciting the Buddha's name. And then, and when you are really just concentrated in the reciting of the Buddha's name, then all those wandering thoughts would not come up. So in this method, you can just use the Amitofo Buddha's name, or you can just recite some mantra. They are all fine for you to use this method of reciting the Buddha's name. For some practitioners, if you have the habit of reciting Buddha's name, and there can be a very good and a very powerful sentence for you to focus on. That is, ask this sentence: who is the person reciting Buddha's name? Who is reciting Buddha's name? This is a very powerful Huatou for you to practice on. So this is the first stage of Huatou. And then let's have a look at the initial stages of cultivating awakening. Yeah, so for a practitioner, it's very important to just have the confidence, in the matter itself. So we know that you must have a very important factor in your practice. That is, you must be very deeply, firmly convinced about the matter itself. You must be convinced of the reliability and the accessibility of this method. Yeah, so must be able to have the very firm grasp on the matter itself. So when you are able to use the methods very just familiar, then this method, the Huatou, will be gradually just a shovel of all those wandering thoughts. Yeah, so in using this Huatou, all the way, your mind is just focusing on this Huatou, and you just keep your focus on this who. And so just like it is very similar to what you are working with the Huatou of Wu. So your focus is on the word Wu. Okay, so this is why you are working on the methods. Just put the focus of your method on this word who is practicing, who is reciting Buddha's name. But how about this? If your working doesn't make any progress, yeah, your practice is inefficient. Yeah, so this is because of those seeds of desires, seeds of the inherent habitual tendency. They are deeply planted in your consciousness, especially deep in your eighth consciousness. They are so deeply rooted that obstructed your hard work in the practice. In this way, Master Han Shan's advice is that you have to use some auxiliary methods of prostration or chanting sutras or doing some repentance prostrations. Yeah, so this can be very helpful for you to just eliminate all those karmic obstacles. Yeah, so for some practitioners, they complain that during the retreat, they just keep on drowsing off all the time. And then we always have the good advice for them that you just go to the the aisle, or you just stay on your just go to aisles and doing the practice of repentance prostration, because of the karmic obstructions that deep rooted in your consciousness is working now. So you just do your prostration, repentance prostration in such a way that you do it continuously and mindfully. Then all these obstructions can be gradually just cut off. So this can be the main point about Master Han Shan's teachings of Chan practice. And yeah, and about some essentials of cultivating awakening. There are very important factors about not to seek all those mysteries or wonders situation. Do not wait for the awakening, and well, for someone, it is after some kind of very skilled and very peaceful state. They cannot find their body, they cannot find their limbs and so on. And then maybe scared or fear can come up to this mind. And it's this at this moment, there is a very important word for you. That is go, let go, and return to the method. Yeah, so this is the best advice for all the practitioners. Just let go and return to the method. Let go and return to the method. Yeah, so just previously, I talked about the Huatou of where do I come from before birth and where do I go after my death. Can someone just ask, can I just use the second half of the Huatou? Yeah, so the second half of this Huatou can be a little bit just confusing because it's a little long and complicated. So the best way is focusing your Huatou on this word, who. Who is the reciting Buddha's name? Who is it? Who is it? This is much easier.